beautiful day in my yard, or as you Brits say, my garden. But we're gonna have some fun. I just adjusted the height a little bit, so just another beautiful, beautiful day. And I'm going away tomorrow, and I'm not gonna tell you where for security reasons, but I'm gonna have SEAL Team 6 as my security to take me through the airport. So I think I'm in good hands. You never know. There could be some irate police off the cuff fans and real crime stories. Or even worse, we could have some irate Coffee with Cannon fans. Hugo Stiglitz the third. Hey Sarge, how are you? Good to see you, Hugo. Saudi Curtis, good morning. Jan on the Lamb, good morning, Bill. S the best. Hello, Bill. Greetings from Germany. Lorna McKenzie, great to see you guys. Angela Eng. You know, we're doing a show today at 5 o'clock. The attorneys for two of the players in the Rust movie set case, Hannah Gutierrez, who was the armorer, and of course David Halls, who was the assistant director. They're uh, they're putting out some stuff in the media now about how their clients are not liable for this, how their clients are innocent, they did this, that. I don't know why attorneys try cases in the media. You know, the place to try them is in a courtroom. But however, they're all over YouTube, and we're going to do a show on that today and revisit who is liable. Is there anyone liable? You know, the next thing I guarantee we're going to see is Alec Baldwin's attorney coming out of the woodwork and claiming that his client is totally, totally 100% innocent. So we spoke about the investigation, and I'm not going to get into it now because we're going to get into it at 5 o'clock. So this is Coffee with Cannon. Guys, if you don't have one of these cups, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to get a police off the cuff? And of course, on the other side, you got your dipped in butter emblem. What are you waiting for? You'll be the pride and joy of all your friends. They're going to say, oh my God, where'd you get that police off the cuff mug? David Carter, a member of the service from the 4-5 squad. Good, nice to see you. Come back in the chat, because I'll read the whole thing. It went by so fast. Marie Green, love Marie Green. She's a huge supporter. Shalma Tanj from Dominica. Great to see you. I knew where you were from without you even putting it. I know from previous. Hey, I bought Kerrygold Irish butter the other day. You know something? I wish that I could get a commercial for these guys, because here it is. And this is not even a paid commercial, but it just happens to be great Irish butter, you know? And they even have a theme song. Oh, Danny boy, the Kerrygold butter is waiting to cook our eggs and make them taste better. Yeah, there's my commercial for Kerrygold. Angel Ames, subscribe. It's free. Yeah, you guys, I hate doing this commercial all the time, but if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? You're part of that mean 46% of people that watch but aren't subscribed. Lorna McKenzie, she just knew I had that Kerrygold butter with me. I got to carry it in my back pocket from now on, because people are going to ask, where's the Kerrygold butter? Steffi says it's the only butter for me. I got to contact that company and tell them I've been giving them free commercials. So I found something out through an email. It turns out my father-in-law watches every once in a while. He's up in the Adirondacks. He lives up in the North Pole up there. It's beautiful country. Hey, Peter Pranzo, Harlem Raiders. Anyway, I said the other day, I said the expression that success has many friends and failure is very lonely. And my father-in-law being a writer and being a master's degree from Princeton and from Columbia journalism, undergrad at Princeton, master's from Columbia, and he got an MSW somewhere else. He likes to think that he knows a lot about language. And he corrected me and said, it's not what you said, it's success has many parents and failure is an orphan. It's the same thing, just I made it a little more streeticized. There's a word I'm going to have my father-in-law look up. Go look it up in Webster, see if there's a meaning of streeticized. I bet you there isn't. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Richella and Lieutenant Peter on the Scout Sally, morning, Bill. How are you? Marie Green, Rachella Pranzo is in the house. In the house. So, yeah, he's a smart guy. He is a pretty smart guy, you know. But you know what it's like having Thanksgiving with all these smart people. I'm the only Republican, and they're all Democrats, and I gotta ward off attacks from all directions. And as much as I say, let's not talk about politics, they have to bring it up. So that's the way it is, you know. So, folks, how did you love that story? I don't know if you guys, if you didn't watch it yet, we did a show last night, myself and Sergeant Bill and the Detective Phil. We did a show last night on Cleo Smith. And if you guys don't know that story, shame on you. We did a show last night, and it's the most heartwarming story. Cleo Smith is a 4-year-old girl who was missing for over 3 weeks in Western Australia from a campgrounds. And it turned out that she was actually kidnapped right out of her tent in the middle of the night with her mother in sort of partitioned off in another side of the tent. And once a kid is missing for that long, the hope that they'll be recovered or be recovered alive is like almost zero, you know? So the police in Western Australia, they did a most amazing, amazing job. From day one, they gave it the amount of personnel and investigators that it needed. They hit that case with over 100 investigators. I think they said 140 police personnel hit that case, and they stayed on it. And they stayed on it, guess what? Till they had a positive resolution to that case. I almost said revolution. Someone said, I don't know how anyone could be a Republican. I feel the other way around. I don't know how anyone could be a Democrat. As I go to the gas pumps and it's nearing $4 when it was high, when it was low twos when this guy got into. Let's not get into politics. The Australian police did a darn good job tracking that guy down, 100%. One of the ways they did it, and you know, all investigations of missing persons, they should have the competence that this investigation had. One of the things they were able to do was, obviously, one of the first steps you must do in a missing person case is do elimination. The first people you're obviously going to look at are the parents of this little girl. And once they're cleared, you got to spread out the investigation to other areas. And they had a timeline of when she was kidnapped, between what hours. And it turned out it was between like 1:30 in the morning, because the mom woke up and gave her some water. And then she went back to sleep. And it was between 1:30 and 3:30 that they believed the little girl was taken from her tent. So there was reports that that's one noisy garbage truck. Every day that I do this show, that same garbage truck comes by. He's got to get his muffler fixed, I think, you know. So yeah, so they figured out it was between 1:30 and 3:30 in the morning, and somehow they were able, some kind of video, to obtain a description of this car and maybe even a partial license plate. And once they had that, they were able to move in on it, and they were able to run the license plate and figure out where this person that kidnapped this little girl lived. And 4 detectives went to the house, and with the old style narcotics, boom the bram, they boomed the door, and they went into this little room, and they saw the little girl there, and she said the 4 words, "My name is Cleo," which just melted the hearts of every single cop that responded there. And then they were able to make an arrest on the 36-year-old perp that kidnapped this girl. And was Phil Grimaldi's even Phil's in the chat, straight out of Brooklyn. He's in the chat. See, this show goes all over the world, even to Brooklyn, you know. So, folks, Coffee with Cannon, thank you so much for coming. And I'm tired of selling these mugs, but Christmas is coming. Buy some for your family, right? Get some for your friends. Your friends will say, "Oh my God, what does it mean to be dipped in butter, you know, on a coffee mug?" You can explain that to them. It'll become like a revolution in Ireland, in England. If you can, these mugs should be all over the place. They should be in pubs. They should be in bodegas. They should be in delis. They should be in taxi stands. They should be all over the country. Police off the cuff, dipped in butter. Of course, you could factual breakdown. You could ship them to the UK. You just have to order them from the site. They'll ship them wherever. Bill and Phil, what do you think about your new mayor? Oh my God, I knew we were going to be asked that. Look, we're hopeful that this mayor can be better than the last one, because this guy de Blasio has been the worst mayor in the history of New York City, and there's been some horrible mayors in the history of New York City, but de Blasio was undoubtedly the worst. Eric Adams was a captain on the NYPD. He was not an active police officer. I think he made 12 arrests in his entire police career. He was not a proactive. He was not, let me put it this way. I don't personally know the guy, but I've never heard another cop say a good word about him. So take it from there. But could he be a better mayor than this guy? We can only pray and hope so, Can you imagine the conversation dipped in butter at the Christmas table? That's from Marie Green. Yeah, why are you using that dipped in butter coffee mug? Well, I got it from Police Off the Cuff, and hi from Champaign, Urbana. Wow. John Arbel, like that. Great. You guys, a lot, you believe it. Today's what, November 4th? Oh my God. Usually once November hits, and then the next thing is going to be Thanksgiving, and then next thing you know, you're looking at Christmas, and then next thing you know, you see these idiots in Times Square looking up at for the ball to drop. I've worked that detail numerous times as a cop. I don't know why anyone would ever go there and stand in those pens for 8 or 10 hours so they can watch the ball drop with strangers. I would rather be in a nice, warm pub or restaurant or my own home with the fireplace going, a glass of Cabernet, some coffee with Cannon and Bailey's in it. Bailey's and coffee, celebrating Cleo and her parents, Kimberly Myers. Good for you. Factual breakdowns on the John Arbert, once was enough. Molly, and hi from Ireland. It's a sunny day today here in the east of Ireland. Thank you, Molly. Great to hear from you. Josh, our producer, is on the air. Josh, we got to figure out how to get these numbers up. Phil and I are working really hard. I thought last night's, one of the things we do when we do cover a story, there's a thing on YouTube, and YouTube has a lot to do with algorithms. I don't know if you guys know that, but it does. So what you name your broadcast has a lot to do with how it gets thrown out there by the YouTube computer people, the algorithm people. And I named the show last night, West Australia Police Speak. And that scored the highest score I have ever seen on the TubeBuddy, which meant I was like, wow, this is going to take off. And guess what? It didn't. We have like 2,200 or 2,300 views right now. I thought it was going to... Street crime, Bill, we had no choice. That's right, working in Times Square, street crime went. And most of the time, the anti-crimes went, too. Those were the plainclothes units that worked, precinct-wide. So they would send all the anti-crimes, and they would send citywide anti-crime. And back in the day, Times Square they used to call it like a mug-a-thon. It was like a robbery-a-thon all night long. That's all you did was robberies happening right in front of you. Factual breakdown, I agree, Bill, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. Thank you so much, but it's not, the numbers aren't reflecting that, and you guys, if you haven't watched that show, please go watch it. We can get some numbers after the fact if you don't want to watch it live, because I thought it was a very touching show. The fact that they recovered this little 4-year-old, she was alive. She has a smile and a face that could melt your heart. And the whole country of Australia was proud over the recovery of this little girl. They were so proud that their police did this. And we need something like that in New York. We need the people to be proud of the police, instead of people bashing the police all the time, Luckily, one of the things that really went down yesterday across the country, or on Election Day across the country, was that the whole defund the police movement. Let's defund the radicals that even suggest that. Let's defund the politicians that suggest defunding the police. That's the most asinine idea that anyone has ever brought up. And I know I'm getting political, but to me, defunding the police, and I think most of you folks out there that watch this show, watch Police Off the Cuff, watch Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, watch Coffee with Cannon, I think you would agree with me, you know. Christine Rose, you agree with me. My wife is doing incredibly well. I mean, she still has, someone just asked in the chat, she still has a long way to go to heal. She's got some further surgery in a couple of months, but she's tough. She's real tough, you know, and that's why she's recovering faster. We went for a walk yesterday along the Hudson River, and she likes to take those half-hour walks, and she's doing great. And thanks, everyone, all you guys, for your prayers, and thank you for asking, because that helps my heart so much that you guys ask and are concerned. But she's doing great, and she still needs, you know, some more recovery time. You know, people are trying to pull her back to her job because she's, yeah, tough like a cannon. That's right. That's right. We used to say to our friends, two of our friends are doctors at Wake Forest University, and actually they just retired. And both of them eat like birds. And we'd invite them over our house and we'd say, eat like a cannon, eat, you know. And so they made that an expression, eat like a cannon. I should get that on a shirt, eat like a cannon, you know. Thank you, Marie Green. Thank you so much. High school kids talking about refunding the police. You know, in New York City, they took $1 billion from the police budget. Yeah, this buffoon, de Blasio. He took $1 billion from the police budget. And you know, when they talk about, even this new mayor, I heard he's talking about cutting overtime. You know, it's impossible to cut overtime because things come up where you need the police. Say a case like Cleo Smith came up in New York City. Are you going to send the detectives home after they worked 8 hours? Do you want this case solved, or you're worrying about overtime? All right, because that's why overtime comes in, to pay people to do investigative work. When there's details, when there's things that you don't, when there's an explosion, when there's a building collapse, when there's a major fire, they need security. Are you going to pull the police off it? You're going to pull the police off that detail? No, you got to pay them overtime. You have to pay them overtime. You know, as part of that whole defund the police movement and bail reform and a lot of this other stuff, murder is up 30% nationally, not just in New York City, nationally. Those are FBI statistics. So the whole defund the police movement has been an utter disaster. So people that were supporting that, they're going to start hiding under the rocks during the next election time, because defund the police is a disaster. Reform the police, no one can really argue with that. It's probably a good idea, yeah. To reform a lot of things, you know, reform a lot of professions, but yeah, reform, let's change how we do things. Let's do it better, you know. Let's use science, let's use education, let's train cops. That's one of my pet peeves, because whenever anything goes wrong on a police, with the police department, they say, the police need more training. But guess what? They're lying, because they don't want to pay for it. Training costs money. And training cops means taking them off the road, taking them off the street and putting them in a classroom for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it takes, or even a day. And guess what? All politicians say they need training, but guess what? They're lying. Politicians lie. I don't know if you guys know that. Both sides lie. Republicans, Democrats, they all lie, because that's what a politician does. That's part of their job description. You got to be a good liar, you know. Angela Eng, great to see you. Angela Eng is Joe Murray's better half, and I'm sure she's his administrator, his assistant on his law practice, and they're going to come up pretty soon. We understand they're threatening us with doing a podcast, you know. So it's you know, she's going to be the brains behind that, even though Joe says that he is, but. Defunding the cops movement, Michael Geary, doesn't lower crime. Every cop knows that. You know, that's for sure. Mike Geary is a great professor. He's got a law degree. He was a 4.4. Was it 4? No, yeah, 4.4 cop. I taught with him at a college. I won't say the name of the college. We taught at a private college for a while. Mike is now like a big shot in the administrative capacity in a private college in Connecticut. Good guy. Good to see you here, Mike. Allegedly guilty. November. Joe and Angela Best. New show coming. Ooh, that's from Lieutenant Pete. Where's all my people from Great Britain? I'm not seeing you guys. Seem like you're not on the air today. And my Irish people, Australia, South Africa. I'm not seeing you guys take a day off. Tina Wright. Good morning, Tina. I like that little. Is that the face of a cat? I can't tell. Canada. Tina Wright's from Canada. Lisa Clark is here from Great Britain. Good to see you. Great to see my Great Britain people here. Hello, everyone. Margot Sieg, Arizona in the house. Hello from South Africa, Tanya Mans. Great to see you. Mrs. Kelly from Ireland. Tina Wright. All you guys, great to see you in the chat. Guys, I think it's time to take a sip of coffee. Coffee with Cannon. Raise your glass. If you got Bailey's in there, let me know. Shout out to Jimmy Calandra. Jimmy Calandra is a good friend of ours. He's got his own podcast. If you haven't listened to Jimmy Calandra, he's a great storyteller. He's a great guy, and you go over to his show, Jimmy Calandra's show. He's a interesting guy, and the Gabby Cabby, of course. These folks have helped us out. Josh, our producer, saying 44.2% of our listeners here aren't subscribed. What are you guys waiting for? Why do I have to every day chastise you for not being subscribed? If you're not subscribed, go over there right now and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a thumbs up, okay? Thank you so much. Today at 2 o'clock, I know my partner Phil Grimaldi is going to be on Gisela's show. I think they're going to do some cross-pollination, as we call it, you know. Mrs. Kelly, how are you? Good to see you. Yankees for life. So, yeah, some cross-pollination, that's what we call it, you know. I'm trying to cross-pollinate with people that have 200,000 or 300,000 subscribers, but when you email someone like that, they don't answer you, you know. They know what you're trying to do, you know. One day, if we ever cross the 50 and then the 100,000 subscriber plateau, people are going to be calling me and saying, "Oh, would you come on my show?" And then I better remember that I was once on the bottom rung of the ladder, you know, and looked for these people. So what do you guys think of the whole, the shooting on, Phil Grimaldi's going to cover the Murdoch case at 2 o'clock. I may stop by. I got a few things to do, and we got a show at 5 o'clock today. But I may stop by at 2 if I can. Tell Gisela it's not out of the question. I just got a few things to do. The shooting on the film set Rust. Now, there are 3 potential people that could be charged criminally in that case. And that's Hannah Gutierrez. The gentleman's name is David Halls. And, of course, Alec Baldwin. Now, we've covered that case, and we talked about how what they could criminally be charged with. Thank you, Shalma Tanj. I can't believe you were coming here all the time and you weren't subscribed, but I thank you for subscribing. That's fantastic. Really appreciate it. Mr. Gate, so the charge in the case would be, if it was a criminal charge, it would be involuntary manslaughter. And that would be a felony, but there's 3 people that could potentially be charged, and I just listed those people. How many people, with showing a 1 in the chat, think that someone in that case should be charged criminally? If you think they should be charged criminally, the 3 people I mentioned, put a 1 in the chat. Mrs. Kelly, I got my friend Aaron's dad tuning into now. He also new to YouTube, so that's great. So I see a bunch of people in the chat with 1s. Joe Kane believes it. Retired Captain Joe Kane. Good to see you, Joe. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of 1s in there. Wow. And so basically what that would mean is that this would, all 3 of them, wow, we got a lot of people here who think there should be criminal charges in this case. Manslaughter, yeah, manslaughter or criminally negligent homicide, or Yeah, it's reckless, reckless. Kimberly Myers, Sir Bill, I believe Alec thinks he's above the law and it's time to bring the charges. Margot Sieg, more evidence needed. Yes, I think, right, they have to vet the evidence. They have to definitely uh, come up with a strong case if they're going to bring these charges. Uh, the DA from day one, hello, the lady is a tramp, how are you? The DA said from day one that she was definitely going to consider criminal charges. Now, what our show is going to be about today at 5 o'clock is the attorney for Hannah Gutierrez is saying, they're claiming, and this is outrageous, I think, they're claiming that someone sabotaged the set and put a live round in the chamber of this gun. This is what they're claiming now. And these are the attorneys for Hannah Gutierrez. The attorney for David Halls is claiming that he never handed the gun to Alec Baldwin. So that, I mean, if the investigation was done properly and they locked all three of these into a statement that night, like I told you guys, what they had to do was keep them there as long as they needed to and had a solid statement given by all three of them. In fact, one of the things I said they should have done was show the gun to Alec Baldwin and have him swear, yes, that's the gun I just fired. Put that in his statement. Show the gun to David Halls. Is this the gun you handed to Alec Baldwin? Yes. Boom, in the statement. Show the gun to Hannah Gutierrez. Is this the gun you handed to David Halls? Yes. Boom, in the statement. That now these attorneys wouldn't be claiming this sabotage claim because you would have locked them into the statements, And now the attorneys will, after the fact, say, oh, the gun should have been dusted for fingerprints. The gun should have been swabbed for DNA. I talked about the other night that I used to teach at the criminal investigation course when I was on the NYPD as, not all the time. It would come up every 3 months, every 6 months, and they would bring me down to the academy, and I would teach a class on identification procedure. But one of the things I learned was that that the NYPD, their crime scene unit, over a 10-year period, had dusted, I don't know, let's just use the number 1,000 guns for fingerprints. And over that 10-year period, they had a 2% positive hit ratio from lifts off these guns. And that didn't mean that the fingerprint came back to the guy who was the shooter, just that they lifted a positive fingerprint. So one of the reasons, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, that it's tough to lift fingerprints off of firearms is because the surface of firearms do not lend itself to lifting fingerprints. The surfaces are rough, sometimes they're corrugated, they're not smooth. And the other part of that is that fingerprints are made from the oils from your skin. So when a gun is fired, it produces heat. So the heat from the gun being fired dissipates the fingerprints and actually makes them disappear. That's why over a 10-year period, using the number 1,000, the crime scene unit of the NYPD only had a 2% positive fingerprint hit ratio. So when these TV pundits and these attorneys say, oh, they should have dusted for prints, they use that to create doubt. That's really the only reason. Tina Wright, do I think that this crime was planned, the shooting on the set of Rust? No, I think it was an accident. I definitely think it was an accident. However, I think there was gross negligence on this movie set. And I think the gross negligence didn't just start with the armorer, Miss Gutierrez, Hannah Gutierrez, and didn't end with Alec Baldwin, but there was safety concerns on this entire movie set. And I think that's where the big problem. Baldwin's career is over. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. One of the problems is, and for me too, is that I don't like Alec Baldwin. So I don't like anything about him. I think he's a great actor. I think he's really a talented guy. But as a human being, I think he's a dirtbag. To tell you the truth, he gives his opinions many times on things. He's anti-cop. You know, in fact, I think he said in 2017 when a cop in California shot and killed a guy, his quote was, he really criticized the cop, and his quote was, "I wonder what it feels like." Uh, what was the word he used to unwanted or unwarrantedly kill someone? Uh, and the cop who he was referring to was cleared by the district attorney and by a grand jury. So, you know, what goes around comes around sometimes. And I hate to say that because you never want to judge someone, but he judged that cop. And so he's an activist and he's not a lover of cops, I'll put it that way. Now, Mr. Baldwell, these attorneys for Gutierrez is claiming sabotage. So what do you think the other defendants, if they even turn out to be defendants, the district attorney could turn around and say, there's going to be no criminal charges. But guess what there is 100,000% going to be? There's going to be civil charges. This is going to be a huge civil lawsuit. And the movie producers, Alec Baldwin, the assistant director, the armorer, all of them, Kimberly Myers, Sir Bill, just want to say you, Detective Phil and Duty on, we just love you. Thank you so much. We could use the love, and everyone could use love. Guys, Coffee with Cannon, thank you so much for being here. It's a great thing. And you could actually have one of these mugs. Go on our site and order the mug. And as you know, on the other side, it says a little club, a little secret term dipped in butter, So, yeah, thank you, Christine Rose. She says, we love you, Bill. I love all you guys. And again, shame on you if you're not subscribed, as 44% of you aren't that watch us. Please, if you're not subscribed, go to our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. And if you don't have your Kerrygold butter, I heard that Phil Grimaldi, who even is making some Italian sauce as we speak, he even uses Kerrygold butter. Can you believe that? They're even using it in Brooklyn, not just in Derry, not just in Galway, not just in Dublin, but they're using it in Brooklyn. That's great. It's Grizzly Books. Oh my God, you have Kerrygold. Gisela is on the air. Look at Gisela in the chat. So good. Gisela is Grizzly. Yeah, all you OGs, you original Grizzlies. We call it on this show original gangsters, Tina Wright, good to see us there. Phil, Kerrygold, the best. Look at that. Look at that. So good to see you. Just, an awesomely beautiful day. And as I said, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'm not going to tell you my destination, but I'm going to do a Coffee with Cannon over the weekend for my other destination. So you'll find out where I am you'll be looking at some of the vegetation and you'll figure it out, Shama, I know you just subscribed. Thank you so much. Anyone else is in Pippins? Good morning. Tina Wright. I'm not saying, Tina, I'm not giving it up till I get there, You'll see SEAL Team 6 with me and you'll say, wow, he really does have SEAL Team 6 with him, Did I really tell you that? Okay. Then it's out of the bag. I'm going to Florida, but I'm not going to tell you what part of Florida, Sergeant Melinda said, retired Sergeant Melinda said, it's a security risk. Don't tell them where you're going. Yeah, it's actually my sister's, my brother-in-law's. I can't say this. Something. That's why I didn't say it, or I don't want to say it again because it's a surprise. No, I'm not going. I wish I was going to Isla Mirada. I'm going back to Isla Mirada in April, though, definitely, and I want to go fishing. I love it there. It's like, I wear my Montauk hat all the time because I love Montauk. But Isla Mirada, if you guys haven't been there and you have something on your bucket list, I wasn't supposed to say because it's a surprise. It's a surprise, but now I just gave it up. So I hope my brother-in-law's not watching the show today, because then my sister's going to be pissed off at me, but someone who did that to me. Lady is a tramp. You made me give it up. I don't know. Guys, so, I just hit the 35-minute mark, and so Coffee with Cannon, loose lips, Marie Green, you're so right. I try to live my life like that, but I never do. Loose lips sink ships, and, dipped in butter. And I'm going to take the fifth, Lieutenant Pete. You're 100% right. I need to hire Joe Murray as my attorney to create some doubt. I'll say, I never said that. And Joe Murray will say, yeah, he didn't. So go get some of that Florida heat. Winter is indeed coming. That's 100% sure, and I'm not there long enough because I have a lot of friends. I'm not going to be there long enough to go visit friends all over. Next time I go, I want to visit some friends. I have so many friends in Florida. A lot of cops moving down there. Cops are all over the Fort Lauderdale, the Boca. Where else do the cops live in? The West Coast. They're all over the West Coast. I can't think of all the towns there, but it's. Thank you, Ruth Ann Griffin. She said safe travels. And both of my sons are going to be with me. And thanks, Scotty Wagner. 2-3 El Barrio Forever, 2-3 Squad. So my sons are going to be there. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a little downtime. My wife is going to have, my mother-in-law is going to be here to take care of her. So don't make me feel guilty about going away. I know some of you women are just going to be like, how can you go away? And well, my ladies, if you come here, I want to know, in Michigan, the lady is a tramp. The Michigan Wolverines, right? Boca Raton. Your youngest was born in Boca Raton. Wow. Jupiter, Florida. That's where I know a couple of cops that live there. And that's it's big bucks there to buy something there, but it's supposed to be amazing. Jimmy Cohn, the retired CEO of Aviation Inspector, he lives in Jupiter, and he flies. He's a private pilot. He flies millionaires all over the country now. Mike, imagine that. What a great thing. He retired from the NYPD. I think he was actually also a major, or he was a high-ranking guy in the Army National Guard, too. And now he's... Joe Namath lives in Jupiter. Joe Namath was my idol when I was a kid. In fact, I wore number 12 in high school, both in football and basketball. I was such a Joe Namath fan. My God. That's right. A lot of people live in Jupiter. Anyway, guys, I'm over the 30. I'm actually at 37. I'm approaching 38 minutes. Thank you so much for listening to Coffee with Cannon. And I can't believe this much time went by so fast. Mike Champlin moved to Florida 6 years. I may be following you one of these days. I can still do the podcast from there. I just send the link to Phil straight out of Brooklyn. All right, guys, have a great day, and try to tune into us tonight at 5 o'clock. We're going to discuss the ramifications of the shooting on the film set Rust. Have a great day.